Well, hello, it's your second favorite witch on YouTube. I want to talk about wands again. I had such a good time making them. I just got into back from the shop and just got cleaned up, and I've made a few more. And I want to talk about the different wood properties, healing that they have, how you can incorporate them into your spell work. And if you're someone like me, an atheist witch, actually specified an atheist Slavic witch, we can talk a little bit about that too. I'm going to try and do this without notes because when I have notes I screw up. But just to remind what I talked about last time is for thousands of years people have used some form of wand, but it was mainly a sign of protection and a sign of superiority. So before there was even a wand out there, people would use staves. I have one here. So a staff would be used as a sign of leadership. Oftentimes people needed to use them as a physical aid if they were walking. And they were also used as a weapon. And if they needed to speak, if they were somewhere and they wanted to show sign that they were in charge or important, or they wanted to talk, they would tap their staff to get the attention of others. So it's always been a tool of masculine symbolism. I'm in charge. I have power. I'm speaking. But some wands now are very feminine too. So what happened was, after many, many, many hundreds of years, eventually people wanted to use the power of what a staff could do, and they wanted to put something like that into their personal practices at home. So they would create a mini version, which is what the wand became. So most wands were made out of natural materials like wood or bone. But yeah, they just became a smaller version of a staff. So they fit on somebody's altar, and they used to be very plain. And it wasn't until in the medieval times, and maybe even before that, a sense of keeping up with the Joneses happened, and people began to decorate their wands. And oh, look at my wand, isn't it better than Guinevere's? It's got crystals in it, or it's got herbs wrapped around it, or whatever. Like, people would just elaborate and make them more impressive looking. And you know, I'm not saying crystals don't help, but for a lot of people it was, I want the next best thing. I want to make my wand look like, wow, where did you get your wand? How did you make your wand? And so they just became more and more stylish. But really, this is all they were. Just one piece. Now, that's my preference, because to me, less is more. And I love just the look of natural wood anyway. I was gonna make one with crystals, but after I started to make these, I thought, no, I just prefer these. So this is the one that my husband made me. This is red cedar. And red cedar is a very feminine wood. It's very soft, and it's good for harmony, healing, spirituality, good luck. Now bear in mind, when you're using a wand in your spiritual practice, your left side is your feminine side and your right side is your masculine side. So if you're doing something and you want to receive something to come to you, that's your feminine side. If you want to block something or protect yourself, you use the right hand. Okay, so depending on what you're doing, when you're directing your energy, be mindful of which hand you've got it in. So for those that practice magic, wands are used to create a circle, or you can actually physically direct and send magic, send something out or bring something to you. Otherwise, you can meditate with it and just hold it. Okay, the next wand that my husband made, again, was this beauty. This is Alder, and Alder is good for charms and healing, but it's also got properties both masculine and feminine, so it's good for blocking and protection, but also good for healing. And when I oiled it, it really didn't change the color a whole lot, but I love the style. I love how he turned this one. Okay, so that's Alder. So then I made a yellow cedar wand. I absolutely love this idea. I wanted to make a feminine wand. I wanted to do something that mimicked the female body. So as you can see, there's curves to it, like hips and the cinch of the waist and whatnot. So to me, this was a very feminine wand, and yellow cedar is a feminine wood. It's good for feminine health, so it's good for helping you create something that will help with menstrual cramps, menopause, perimenopause, that sort of thing. So if you're wanting to direct, you know, some healing for yourself, you know, in specific to feminine health, that's why I made this one. Okay, the next wand. What was the next wand? My pine. Pine, very feminine. Simple shape. Love the color, very soft. So when you're handling it, it's a beautiful feeling. So pine is good for healing and cleansing and purity, but also for growth and protection. So like I say, wands are always masculine anyway. It's always a masculine tool just because of what it is. But find the right wood and you can get a lot of good feminine energy too. But I love this. I was afraid to oil it because I thought it would change the feel of it, but I just love it. Okay, next. Again, alder. Look at the shape. This was not easy to make. It's easier to make something like this and just go with the flow with my creativity, but this one I deliberately made into this shape, and it was not easy. Now, the other thing about having different wands, different woods, different shapes, is that some feel stronger than others. So this is a very strong wood. It feels like there's some heft to it. It feels like it's going to be good for protecting. Like I say, alder is good for blocking and protection and that kind of thing. But this one just looks like it is meant to do the job. It is no nonsense. And this, I deliberately did this shape to see if I could do it. And I did. And I'm very happy with the outcome. Okay, then I worked with red cedar. It was my first time working with red cedar, very soft. And I found that this is very light. So there was nothing to it. So again, being a very feminine wand, this is more for the mind and heart. This doesn't feel like, because it's so soft and so light, it doesn't really feel like it's going to be like a big protective object. It feels like this is more of a symbol. So, and I just started cutting away at it, and I noticed I had made it very small, and instead of one handle, I put in the knuckle grooves here for holding it. Hold it with my left hand. But yeah, it's my first time using red cedar, so I gotta be very careful with that because you can make it smaller than you intend to without even really realizing it. Now, today, my very first time making a teak wand. So here we go. This is teak. This is the one wood that is not native to the region where we live. Teak usually is native to Asia, and where I live on the west coast of British Columbia, we would not find teak. But this is a heavy wand, and just looking at it, it's big, it's strong, it feels like there's, it's going to protect, very robust. And that is exactly what teak does. Teak is for protection and leadership and that sort of thing. So this is really a great wand, especially if you're in a circle and you have uncertain outcome and you want to protect. This is what you want. You want to have this on your altar. So that's the other thing, is working, how you work with wands in a magical sense is for creating a circle. So with one hand for protection, you want to go counterclockwise or walk around with the wand. And then if you want good things to come to you, you hold it in your left hand and you use the appropriate wood, and you would go clockwise with your left hand. As an atheist, well, as I've said, I don't really use these for magic, but I will tell you what they do for me. Just having them around, the scent of the wood, how it feels in my hand, how it looks on the altar, everything about it makes me feel something. So when I have one of these on my altar and I'm using it, I know which ones are used for what. So it's kind of up here too. And to personalize your wand, same thing with your tarot cards. You want to have them close to you at all times. So have it on your altar. Like, this is my magic room. It's my office, but it's also my magic room. So this is always nearby. All of my wands are always nearby. Another thing, if you want to feel more personal with your wand, sleep with it by your bed, even under your pillow. And to charge it, leave it out on a full moon under the moonlight, and that will recharge your wand. And just for physical looking after, if you've got natural wood, you want to oil it about once a year to prevent the cracks and prevent any rotting. Don't get it wet. There's some things I'm reading online about putting them in the water. I advise don't do that. Moonlight is just fine. Oil is just fine. Look at this teak. It's got green in it. Isn't that amazing? I don't know if you can see that, but it's got some green. I love this one. I think I'm going to make a few more teak. Yes, definitely. I've got to experiment with this a bit more. It's got beautiful colors in it. Anyway, I hope that helps with learning a little bit more about what you do with your wands and what to look for when you're shopping for them if you don't make one yourself. I pamiętaj, zróbete coś pro mnie dla siebie сьогодні, which means do something nice for yourself today. And we'll see you soon. Pobačimos.